everybody, Lisa Romano here, the Breakthrough Life Coach, and today I'm going to talk about the 3 E's of narcissism and what you need to look out for. There are 3 distinctive qualities of a narcissist that if you pay attention to these 3 characteristics, you will be able to avoid tremendous trauma and drama in your life. So the first one is a lack of empathy. The second one is a sense of entitlement. And the third one is exploitation. So let's pull it apart. So let's say you're on a date with someone and you tell this person that you feel tired and you are talking about feeling drained. You're a school teacher, you had a bunch of 5-year-olds that you had to deal with all day and you feel very, very tired, and the principal threw a bunch of work at you and you're just really drained. Let's say you talk about a child in your class that is a little bit more difficult than the others, and again, you're talking about frustration. If you're dealing with somebody who doesn't counter back with, tell me about that, oh wow, that sounds really difficult. If you don't feel like that person is able to see you or to mirror back the idea that they're able to hear your emotions, what you're sharing, that's something to look out for on a first date, let's say, or that's something to look out for in a relationship, or you're looking for that type of a pattern in a relationship. If you notice that you are with someone who has a lack of empathy for other people, who very rarely, if ever, acknowledge people's pain. If you're in a conversation with somebody who is a narcissist and you talk about how you feel, your feelings will not be validated. Your feelings will not be mirrored. In fact, you will be exploited. You will be minimized. You will be marginalized. You could stand there crying blue in the face after finding a narcissist who has cheated on you, and they will absolutely not take responsibility for how you feel. They could have squandered all your money. They will not care how you feel. They won't care that you now cannot pay your mortgage. They won't care that you might be evicted. They won't care. So a narcissist lacks empathy for you completely. If you are sick, they will not care. If you get cancer, they do not care. They will only care about how your disease or your issue affects them. So a lack of empathy is definitely something that we need to look out for in the people that we're dealing with on a day-to-day basis. Narcissists are grandiose in that they believe that what they think and what they feel and what they need and what they want, they're absolutely entitled to. If they have a feeling, if they're angry, they feel entitled to lash out. If they are frustrated, they feel entitled to tell you and to lash out and to even blame you for why they feel frustrated. Many narcissists are known to be deceptive. They think nothing of cutting the line wherever they are, right? So it could be the line at the movie theater, the line at the bank. It could be cutting people off in traffic. There's a sense of my needs come before everyone else. There's a sense of entitlement. They feel entitled to say and to do and to feel and to behave any way they want to. If they're irritated at you, they feel entitled to embarrass you. They have no remorse about embarrassing you, minimizing you, and making you feel less than them. So there's this incredible sense of entitlement. They feel entitled to embarrass the waitress. They feel entitled to make fun of your children. They feel entitled to take things from you, to borrow your clothes, to take your car. They feel entitled to take money out of your bank account if they feel the need to. They feel entitled to invite people to your home. Right? They feel entitled to steal your home from you. I actually dated somebody who I believe was trying to steal my home from me, and who was also at the same time dating at least 7 other people, so said detectives that I had to speak to, who informed me that the person that I was dating stole his mother's house. And he was dating women who owned their own houses. And so when you began to put the pieces of the puzzle together, this man lacked empathy for me. He felt entitled to lie to me, to deceive all these other women. And he even felt entitled to possibly even steal my own house from me. Narcissists feel entitled to say and do what they want to do, right? So whatever comes to their mind, they feel like it's within their right and they feel entitled to put their needs above the needs of anyone else. If the children are hungry and the narcissist is hungry, the narcissist wants to eat before the kids, and the narcissist will be upset that the kids ate before he or she ate. If the narcissist is irritable and wants to leave, let's say, an amusement park or a movie theater, and everyone else, the whole entire family, is enjoying this experience, the narcissist will actually pick everybody up or control the situation, make everybody uncomfortable so that they leave that experience because they are unhappy. Whatever the narcissist feels, the narcissist wants to make sure that everyone else is aware that they are in control. So if a narcissist is upset and a narcissist wants to leave and the family doesn't want to leave, then the narcissist feels entitled to make everyone else feel bad and to destroy the mood of everyone else so that the outcome is we all go home. This is the way the narcissist maintains power and control over a family unit. This also goes back to lacking empathy. So if a narcissist is irritable and pissed off, there's this family outing, let's say we're all at the zoo, and for whatever reason, the narcissist is annoyed, maybe the kids are having too much fun, they're not showing the narcissist enough appreciation, or something else ticked the narcissist off, and in spite of how everyone else is feeling, the narcissist will not have empathy for the family and will feel entitled to have his experience or her experience trump the experience of everyone else. Narcissists also exploit. They exploit people, just as a way to get their needs met. So if you've got something a narcissist wants, the narcissist will exploit you until they get it. They will exploit your emotions. They will exploit your vulnerabilities. I think one of the most difficult things to heal after being abused by a narcissist is this idea that you have shared yourself with them. And aside from having them lack empathy for you, minimizing you, marginalizing you, and feeling entitled to do all of that, there's this level of exploitation. And you get comfortable with the narcissist, they love bomb you, they pull you in, you begin to trust them, and then slowly over time they begin to insult you, and here comes all these insults, right? They start to, again, minimize you and make you doubt the way this narcissist really feels about you. They want you incapacitated by your fear of what they might think about you. They want you in fear of that. And what is so difficult to wrap our minds around, at least I think so, is this idea that our vulnerabilities were exploited. I remember when I was married to my ex-husband, and I didn't know it at the time. I didn't understand emotional exploitation. I didn't understand emotional manipulation. I didn't understand gaslighting. I didn't even understand narcissism. I had no clue of codependency. I wasn't even sure that I was being emotionally abused. I just knew that I felt off, I felt crazy, I felt sick all the time, I had brain fog all the time. I wasn't really sure if this person loved me or hated me. I sort of felt like we were in an adversarial relationship. It felt more like a boxing ring, and he was on one side and I was on the other, and I kept going into the middle, trying to get him to come into the middle, and every time he got close, he knocked me out. It was just a maddening experience. But like a true codependent that suffered attachment trauma, who believed she wasn't good enough, I always thought it was my fault. After you have a relationship with someone and you marry this person, over time, you generally begin sharing with them things that have happened to you in your past. And I can tell you that I remember being hurt the most when he threw something that I shared with him in my face. So he was exploiting my emotional wounds. So if I said I felt like my mother didn't love me when I was a child, when in the middle of an argument or when I was gaining ground in an argument, he would say something like, even your own mother told me you were difficult. Even your own mother never loved you. Or even your own mother didn't like you. It's not me, Lisa. Your own mother doesn't like you. And he was exploiting me. He was exploiting my wounds, he was exploiting my emotions, and he was gaslighting me. And his main goal was to get me to feel paralyzed so we stopped talking about what we were talking about. And you know what? Most of the time it worked. Because he would say something like, even your own mother doesn't like you. And I would feel so hurt that I would say to him, how could you say that? Like, why would you say that? And then I was wrapped up in, how could my husband say that? What does this mean? And in all of that confusion, guess what happened? He created a smokescreen, and we were no longer talking about the thing that I wanted us to talk about. Now understand is that narcissism is about securing a narcissistic supply. And my ex-husband took my vulnerabilities and on cue exploited them for his sense of narcissistic supply. I now understand that he was always in search of maintaining this inner balance of that allowed him to feel in control over the people in his environment. Mostly how his narcissism, where it was obvious, it played out with the children and I. When he was around other people, neighbors and so on, what he was doing was he was exploiting how people saw him by manipulating how people saw him. And so strangers always got the best version of my ex-husband. And so while he was manipulating and exploiting the perceptions of the people that saw him, he was securing narcissistic supply from others outside of the family dynamic, and also exploiting the vulnerabilities of myself and our children. And so he was securing narcissistic supply from as many people as he possibly could. He would not tell the truth. He would lie to his parents, then come home and lie to me. He would lie to the children. And in all of these lies, there he was maintaining this sense of balance and control from these various sources of narcissistic supply. Another interesting dynamic about narcissists and their need or their drive to secure narcissistic supply is that they can appear to have empathy. So if you have proven to be a valid source of narcissistic supply, the narcissist can show up for you, at least on the surface, because in showing up for you, you are supplying them with their narcissistic supply, because you now see this person as altruistic, you see this person as a great person. My ex-husband would answer the phone in the middle of the night and travel to go fix a flat tire for someone because he knew that this person was going to be bragging about what a wonderful person he was. But with the children and I, who were already kind of latched in, and in his head, we were already stuck in this situation, he didn't come off that way with us. He got the narcissistic supply by power over us. So when we had an emotion, when we shared an emotion with him, he exploited that emotion. He didn't have empathy for that emotion. He felt entitled to ignore what we were feeling. And so when we became the type of narcissistic supply that wasn't glorifying him, we became a source of narcissistic supply that he could tap into by using power over us through a lack of empathy, exploitation of our feelings, and through a sense of entitlement. He felt entitled to be able to treat us in this narcissistic way where he was creating power over us. It is so mind-boggling when you recognize that narcissists will exploit anyone, and they feel entitled to exploit anyone, and they have absolutely zero empathy for how their behavior affects other people. When dealing with a narcissist, if you're asking yourself, is this person a narcissist? Remember the 3 E's, because they interface, they interlock, right? Because somebody who feels entitled does not have empathy for other people generally. And somebody who feels entitled and lacks empathy will tend to exploit the needs of others. It's really, really difficult after you've been hooked by a narcissist to be able to sort these things out. Because so oftentimes you're dealing with a narcissist who is using confusing language and says, well, I love you, But if you weren't so emotional, you'd be easier to love. Or if you weren't so paranoid, you wouldn't worry about how many women I talk to at work. Or if you were a better lover, then I wouldn't have to go out and have sex with other men. I'll be doing a video soon about the things narcissists say. And one of the things that I will be sharing in that video is a comment from a woman who I asked viewers to please give me your input. Let me know some of the things that the narcissists have said to you. And she wrote me and she said, my narcissist said to me, literally said this, that I wear condoms when I have sex with other women out of respect for you. I would never open myself up to a sexually transmitted disease. I would never open up myself and the woman I loved up to a sexually transmitted disease. So when I cheat on you, I wear a condom. Okay, lack of empathy for how this woman feels. He feels entitled to exploit other women and this woman. Right? No empathy, exploitation, and he feels entitled to do all of this. He's exploiting this woman's emotions for him. He is exploiting her feelings for him. This is what narcissists do. As you move forward and you learn more about narcissism, try to see if you can find a pattern that contains the 3 E's, because generally, like I said, they tend to interlock and weave over one another. Those are the traits that I look for, because not everybody that we argue with is a narcissist. Not everybody that we dislike and dislikes us is a narcissist. But generally, people who are narcissistic or who have high narcissistic traits are people who feel entitled to exploit other people. And so that means if there is a job promotion at work, then someone who has high narcissistic traits will lie and do everything that they can to make sure that they secure that position. And if they have to lie and have a lack of empathy for you, if they have to triangulate you against you, if they have to deceive other people when it comes to you, if they have to withhold work from you so that you can't finish the project so that they can have the position they feel entitled to, they're going to do it. It can be a crazy world out there. And those of us who are on the codependency spectrum, where we are other focused, not self-focused, we have to be careful, right? We need a higher awareness about the way that we feel, the way we think, and how we interface with the 3D world, because we are lining up with narcissistic people, because narcissists are self-focused and codependents are other-focused. So it's a hand in a glove. We're also both shame-based. The narcissist is shame-based and a codependent is shame-based. But a narcissist deals with the shame by controlling and manipulating the people for narcissistic supply. A codependent generally tries to become a people pleaser, a fixer, an enabler, tries to take care of other people, and tries to gain validation through works, through self-sacrifice. Both shame-based, but their ego interfaces in the 3D world differently and with different intentions. We need to know this information, especially if we are on the codependency spectrum and or if we have high empathy. Empaths want to help and fix everybody. We feel other people's pain. Empaths have reported to me that they can feel the shame of a narcissist. And in their being, they have a desire to love this narcissist and show them that there is a better way. What ends up happening is a true narcissist will totally debilitate an empath and can really cause true emotional and psychological damage in many of the cases through the sheer abuse and exploitation of the empath's vulnerabilities, kindness and generosity, and the ability to feel other people's feelings. So I hope this video has helped. I hope it's created a little bit more clarity in those of you who are wondering, how can I be a little bit more skillful on my path when I am trying to avoid people who have high narcissistic traits? Remember the 3 E's. I hope this has helped. Bye for now. Namaste, dear ones. Until next time.